Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was waste and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said,
Let there be light. It is good. Call the light day and the darkness night.
and there was evening, and there was morning. And this was called the first day.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And how did God create it? He spoke, let there be. And with words, whatever he called into existence was everything. He created all of it. 6 days of creating and one of resting and admiring. And as each happened, he called it good. The world he made radiated his presence because it was exactly the way he wanted. Genesis, the beginning.
Does Genesis actually mean the beginning?
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, hold on, we already on a tangent, right? But the funny thing about Genesis, right? Like, you know, like how some words have meaning, right? Mm-hmm. And then some words have the meaning that you just associate it with. That's the way I look at Genesis.
Okay.
Like, if somebody say, like watch this. Methuselah has a meaning, right?
Yes.
But if I say, look at this old Methuselah over here. You ain't thinking about the meaning of his name. You're just thinking about the age. Like he old. You understand?
Exactly.
Right. So like when it comes to the book of Genesis, I don't know if Genesis have a meaning per se. This is just me being just admitting to my ignorance on this. But definitely, when people think about Genesis, it always means the beginning. You feel me?
The beginning.
The beginning.
So, Genesis, the story of creation, the Bible literally starts with the most iconic phrase almost ever. In the beginning. To me, this topic really, if you're a human being, you have pondered this question. Where did we come from? Where did we get our origins? Did we...
Was there a big bang?
Yeah. But the Bible literally says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It tells you there, like that's literally how the Bible starts. It starts right there, right in front of you. This is how it starts. And then God goes on to tell us exactly what was done on each day of creation. 7 days of creation, 6 days of active work, and 1 day of rest. In the beginning.
Ooh. Hey, I hope you can remind me to bring up a point of the creative process, like towards the end, like after we already say what creation is. Like, I hope I can remember to bring this back, bro, because I just thought about something like as a creator. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And the funny thing is, how did God create the world? Did he take something that was already pre-existing and bring it together? Did he set about a chain of events that gradually led to human development? No. He did something pretty much, I would say, even more impressive and even more uncomprehendable. He just spoke. And as he spoke, everything came into existence.
Everything that was just nothing came into existence.
And you know what? Let's even rewind it back. I mean, we about to go into that Bible. Let's even rewind it back. So, like, if the Bible opens up, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And so now, to me, I know, like, when I was younger, and this could also be me. Well, definitely I was young and ignorant. But, so the first question is, who created God? That's like the first thing people say, like, who created God? And then what you, like, I mean, you could jump in, but what you got to understand is everything that God needed to be God was already present for God to be God. Literally the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
And so like I feel like the who created God question, everybody thought about it. Like from you are acquainted with the fact that there is a God, there is a creator, then you want to say, I feel like it's just natural to ask yourself, like, who created the creator though? You know what I'm saying? Is this just some like infinite loop of this person created this one? You know what I'm saying? Like God created us, right? And someone created God, and someone like how many universes? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
this is it. Like, and our mind is not equipped to comprehend that. You feel
Exactly.
me? And I feel like God, in His wisdom, made it so that we wouldn't be able to comprehend that. You know, I feel like all of the beings that are superior to us, they might understand it quite fine, and it might make perfect sense to them. You know, but to us, it's like it's just the fact of the unknown. And I feel like in life, especially in the Bible, there are a lot of unknowns. But sometimes you have to sit back and ask yourself, like, what is this gonna do for me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we knew who created God, would this stop us, or would this enhance us, our relationship with God? You know, and a lot of questions. I just had to be like, man, God, it's your will. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a reason why you didn't allow us to understand this.
Exactly.
And I know it's a good reason. You feel me? Like, everything else might just not be like for my own good at this moment right now. But if it's meant for me to understand, I definitely would understand. But we don't, as humans, we don't have the answer to this. But we have the answer to who created everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you wonder where light come from, we have the answer for that. If you wonder where, like, literally anything you could see right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, the foundation for everything is coming from this chapter.
Exactly. So now you picture this. Now you say, like, the thing is, it literally says God created the heavens and the earth. And now, like, when we think about it, we instantly think of our earth now. But what you gotta remember is all of this was written in ancient Hebrew. They didn't really have as much words to describe everything as we have now. So literally all they were trying to say is God created the above and the below. And that's why it tries to say the earth was without shape. God created it, but there was no order yet to anything that was there. And it just says His Spirit hovered above the face of the waters. And then what was the first thing God did? He looked at this and He just literally said, through the word, let there be light.
You know, like how people have their Alexa, and like Alexa connected to everybody. God was doing this thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
He invented that thing.
Exactly. But there's nothing new under the sun.
For sure.
But the sun wasn't here yet.
The sun wasn't there yet, bro. So everything was new. You know what I mean? Everything was new.
Everything was new. Yeah. And so now, to me, okay, like, I'm going to show you guys, like, how the story of creation mirrors each other. But so now the first day God said, let there be light. And He also said, let's call the light day and the darkness night. So usually as a kid, they just tell you God said, let there be light. And there was light, it was good, God was happy. But when you really think about it, and especially in that last part right there, when God said, we are going to call the day day and the night night, what did God just introduce into the universe? Time and order. Because what are day and night? They are measurements of time. What was there not before? There was, the Bible literally says, that the earth was without void, it was formless, there was just raw chaos. And God said, I am going to give everything order. I am going to give this universe time. Like, God exists outside of our dimension of time. That's why He can literally be the beginning and the end. So literally the first thing God really created was light, but He really created time.
No, yeah, bro. I mean, that's basically what I'm saying, bro. Like, in he's saying, man, I created this environment, and in this environment, we gonna have light and darkness. The light gonna occupy for a certain amount of time, the darkness gonna occupy a certain amount of time, bro. And like I just thinking this from like a painter, right? Like you see the painter sometimes, bro. Sometimes you watching people paint, they might paint the whole canvas black just to start off. You feel me?
You gotta set the scene.
Right? And you just like, what you doing, bro? Like, or they might paint half the canvas black, half like blue or another color. And you just like, all right, I see you setting it up. And like literally at the end of that painting, you might not have like been able to picture what would have come out of this, but they just know this half of the canvas is gonna occupy this type of color grading or whatever, and the bottom, that type of color grading. And I feel like God, just the master creator. You feel me? Like me as a creative myself, that's the way I look at God. I don't even look at myself as a creator, really. I only say that because people like are accustomed to hearing that. But I feel like everyone who creates are channels of the creator.
Exactly.
You feel me? Because literally all you're doing is you taking resources that are innate to you or just surrounding you, and you're putting stuff together that people haven't seen before. Like creating really is to, in a sense, make something out of nothing. You feel me?
Exactly.
But there's no nothing anymore. Like everything is something. You feel me? Like there are notes. You didn't create these notes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the crazy thing about it, even to go back to what you're saying, what are you doing? You're taking pre-existing things and creating something new out of this.
Exactly.
God literally spoke, and things that were not existing came into existence.
Exactly. And that's why I look at him as the creator. Like, period. You know what I'm saying? And we now are channels of this creator. We are subsets of the creator. Because
Most
it's
definitely.
it's like you can see some people who are that live different lives. Like I have a friend. She's the oldest sibling. She has two younger siblings, a sister and a brother. The brother does photography. The sister vlogs and sings and stuff like that. But she doesn't do any of that, but she's fully supportive. Like they all come from the same household. They all similar in personality, but it's just the two siblings are in a creative fashion. You feel me? So you could always see that some people are gifted with the kind of the insight to create. Like just the channel in their mind is already open, so they could utilize that channel. They have this connection to God. You feel me? And so like God in His creation, He did more for us He did enough for us to actually continue to be able to create. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but I do like the word you say, environments, because the first 3 days of creation, you can literally say God created environments. The 3 days of creation that follow the first three, so days 4 through 6, God created inhabitants for the environments that He previously created. So now we already covered day 1. God created light, day and night, and as a result, God created time and order. So now on day 2, oh yes, and God said it was good.
of course, that's important too.
Yes,
That's
God
important.
said it was good. That's very important. I don't want to mess it up. God said it was good. And then, contrary to how we think about a day now in the Bible, evening came and then morning, and then that was a day.
Correct. And this is from Genesis 1 verse 8. And the evening and the morning were the second day, and that's the sequence of it.
Exactly.
You feel
So
me?
now today, we usually think of morning and then evening as a day. But God said, nope, it's the other way around. So now in day 2, God said, let there be an expanse. Essentially, God created the sky above and the waters below. Then God said it was good. So now in day 3, God said, okay, let's separate the water from the land and bring forth the land. And then He also said, okay, let's bring forth some trees. All seed-bearing trees, they can bring forth fruit. They can bring forth fruit of its kind, which also makes sense because you can't get an apple from an orange seed. You can't get a grape from a mango seed. God said, we going and see, this is just even more order that God created. You are going to bring forth what you are.
Like, but just think about what it is to be God for a second, though. Like, right? You have all of these living beings, right? Like, I'm talking about trees, germs, humans, whatever, bro. You feel me? And it's like,
I wonder if germs was created yet.
no clue. No, I don't know, bro. Like,
No
and
sin.
I'm trying to get into that.
Exactly.
Into that bag right now, bro. But it's like, bro, like, you know, like how they say God don't make no mistakes, right?
Exactly.
Like, you literally can't make a mistake, bro.
And the thing, and like, you know what even strikes me a bit more? He said, bring forth trees. And it wasn't just like a million apple trees pop up. Literally every tree that we can think of that ever was, that's already now extinct, popped up on the earth.
Straight, just like that.
Like,
And it's like God so dread because he never had to talk to this nothingness who we talking to. He never had to say this what a tree is. You see what I'm saying? So it's like let's say you trying to build like a contraption or something. You have your workers and everything, and you say, yeah, man, I about to build a tree, but they never had with a tree before. So you got to break down, and they have to see your vision. You have to try to make it their
Exactly.
vision as much as you can. But no, God just saying, bro, bring forth trees, and that's it. You feel me? Like this, the power of the God that we serve. You know what I mean? And back to my point that he couldn't make he couldn't afford to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's in his ability to even make a mistake, but you can't have a tree that could give birth to like a puppy or something like that. Like nothing can get wired the wrong way. Everything
God is a God of order, man.
That's a God of order, bro. Like straight up.
Exactly. And so, what else did he do on day 3? Something else. He said, okay, he's gonna call the water seas. He's gonna produce the vegetation, call the trees. And then after all of this, God said it was good. And so now let's just revisit these first 3 days. So in the first day, God created heaven and the earth light, time and order. Day 2, God created the sky and the seas. Day 3, God created land. Just keep this in mind. So now on day 4, God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky. And by these lights, we will mark the days, the seasons, and the years. And so, what are days, seasons, and years? A day is literally a measurement of time.
Back at it again.
A year is a measurement of time. Seasons are times of the year. So it literally shows how, one, God literally created time on the first day. Now he's giving time inhabitants time markers, and also simultaneously God created day and night, and now he's giving the day and the night, he's giving them markers, the sun, moon, and stars.
So he making everything that he did on day 1 relevant,
even more relevant to us humans.
He's giving it meaning. You feel me?
Exactly.
So like back to my painting, like I watched a painting of this guy one time, bro. He painted a picture of Jesus upside down, right?
Ouch.
Bro, the whole time he doing these paintings,
you don't
know what he doing, bro. And that's how I imagine the creation thing. So you make light and day. You make light and darkness, right? And like to the person who might just be like, oh, okay, it's whatever. You feel me? That's day 1. But when day 4 come around, and he say, all right, I bringing it back. I remixing this light and darkness. I giving you day and night now. You feel me? I giving you what did he create like stars and stuff?
Sun, moon, and stars.
Sun, moon, and stars. So like I given all of this relevance right
and
now.
like think about it, like even though there were no humans yet, let's imagine this. Now we only demark a day by the sun shining. The first 3 days of creation, there was no sun, but there was still day and night. There was still evening and morning. Like God knew, like this even shows more proof that God knew what he was doing before the beginning.
Let me show you why that day 1 was so important, though. Because literally, if he didn't create time, everything would have just been day 1.
What would have been evening and the morning?
You see what I said? Until he create that time slot, you feel me? Like it wouldn't make no sense to retroactively be like, all right, so yeah, I can separate everything in hours of 24, and you know that's how we got divide everything up. You know, he say no, straight up 24 hours, just straight up.
Day
you know
night.
what I mean? Day and night. That's just how we doing it
in his infinite wisdom. So now we get to day 5. So now if we remember correctly, in day 2, God created the sky and the waters. That's the environments he created. Day 5, God said, let there be birds in the air and let there be fish in the sea.
And I read back. So another key point I wanted to touch on, because we in verse 10, Genesis 2, verse 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden. And from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, or Pison. The second river is Gihon, and I kind of just skimming through, right? But the second river is what's most interesting to me. The second river is Gihon or Gihon, Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. So during the story of creation, in the first 2 chapters of the Bible, I just want to pinpoint that the first country to ever be identified in the Bible is Ethiopia. This is a fact that I learned in college, and this blew my mind. You feel me? Because I never really put together the correlation between Africa and the Bible. But literally, the Garden of Eden was in the region closest to Africa. And what other countries is around that area?
Egypt, them.
Right, just that entire region right there. You feel me?
Yeah, the Middle East.
And you could look this up. You could fact check this for yourself. You understand? The Pison, the Gihon, those rivers stated in Genesis verse 2. You could look it up right now, and you would see that those rivers run through Africa. You know what I mean? So it's just a fun fact to understand where the history of the world and the history of human life originated. And it is in Africa, and this is something that you're not going to find in history books. But it's in the Bible. You feel me? And it's easy for you to just skim over it. You feel me? But I feel like it's also noteworthy.
Exactly. Big. So now he filled the sky with birds, and he filled the sea with fish.
And he give everything he did on day 2 relevance.
More relevance.
You see what I'm saying?
He inhabited the environment.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Why we never learned this in school? I feel science could have tied in so good with the Bible. We learn about environments, we learn about ecosystem, we learn about different
I personally feel in school, when you're learning about the Bible, people is be pari, bro. They is be pari to mix the two in any type of fashion, because it's generally when you think of science, a lot of times they anti-religion.
Oh, I know.
You feel me? Yeah, so you know that way more than me. You see what I'm saying? So it's and at the end of the day, what people really don't understand though is that you could go as far as you want to go in science, but at the end of the day, you still gonna have to have faith. You could go as far as you go in religion, but at the end of the day, you still gotta have faith. You still have to have faith
because you believe in something.
You see what I'm saying? But I feel like the people in religion, when they get to the faith thing, they just the same on it. In terms of teaching people, I don't really want to bring in no type of construct to this, because it might kind of contradict something. You feel me? So they saying, bro, we can keep religion as religion, we can keep science as science, but no, bro. Religion is God creates science. God was being a scientist in the beginning of the Bible, bro. Straight up. You feel me? I creating all of these stuff that people gonna have to study and break down.
And knowing what the intricacies of everything. Because remember, this goes back this way in the future, but just how he was essentially asked, remember what he asked Job, who put the stars in the sky? Can you even tell me how the sun comes up in the morning? Right. Can you tell me this, that, and that? God was yo, you as a human can't tell, who are you to question me? You
ain't qualified to ask me nothing, bro. Straight up.
Exactly.
You have to check Job. Right? What if Job was going on at the same time? I was gonna say Adam and Eve, but that's just me being facetious.
Yeah, no. we cut that part out.
We can't disprove that, because nobody know when Job was really was.
Yeah, Job had no time frame, but we know it was after the fall.
Yeah, for sure. After me.
Yeah. And God said, okay, let the fish and the birds increase in the heavens and the earth. Let them go forth and multiply. And he said it was good. Mm-hmm. Now day 6. Day 6 is where things, in my humble opinion, get more interesting. Mm-hmm. So now, just even to show the dualism, I guess, again. So remember on day 3, God created dry land and trees. So now on day 6, just flowing with the theme, it's time to give this dry land, that environment that was created on day 3, inhabitants on day 6.
Right. So he make the dry land and the seas and stuff like that, and he call it earth, right? But then I might be jumping the gun a little bit.
No man, go for it.
But it's somebody who was supposed to have dominion over this earth. Mm-hmm. So now the earth would have had relevance. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it had inhabitants, right? But then it have a leader as well. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And so bro, I just perfect, bro. Day 1 and 4, perfect. Day 2 and 5, perfect. Day 3 and 6, perfect. No, you see what I'm saying? Like they perfect, like replicas of each other. But like you see the beginning, and then you see like the end result. You feel me?
And so now on day 6, God brought forth all the wild beasts of the fields and everything. But then God said, we're going to unpack this a little bit for you guys, but God said, let us make man in our own image.
Who's us?
And see, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because now you're saying, okay, so who is us? I thought it was just God.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing that a lot of people really struggle with. And I am definitely not an expert on this at all. But God is 3 persons in one. It is the Father, the Spirit, and the Son, who is also called the Word. And so all 3 of these beings were all present at creation. And you're going to ask kind of how. So now, God the Father is the creator. God spoke and everything came into existence. Through the Word, everything came into existence and was created. The Word is the Son. And at the beginning, you see, it says right there, the Spirit of God was hovering upon the face of the earth, upon the face of the waters. So when God said, let us make man in his image, he is still talking to himself, but he's talking to the Spirit and the Son simultaneously in one, saying we as a God Trinity, fully, equally God, fully, equally one in thought, will make man in our own image. We are going to make representations of ourselves to place on this earth to have dominion.
That's powerful, bro. That is powerful. And so it's like what I found personally in reading the Bible. See, I was aware of the Trinity because of school and just hearing people refer to these people, right? But it ain't nowhere in the Bible that I've come across where they like just break down everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you could get it in reading it that there is a Son of God. You feel me? There's like Elohim. There's like the Most High God because that's who the Son of God was talking to. Like when Jesus is on the earth, that's when you see the God Trinity. You could see it more plainly, especially when he was getting baptized. You see the Jesus the Son is getting baptized. You see the Holy Spirit come down in the form of a dove. You hear the voice of God. This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. You could differentiate between the three there. You know what I'm saying? And then also, like just all through the story of Jesus, like he always bigs up his Father. You know what I'm saying? And then they also made reference to the Holy Spirit. You know,
from time to time, because Jesus said, after I go, I'll even send one who can be with everywhere. I will send the Spirit back to be with you guys.
Exactly. So like you can make that differentiation. But here it is. We are in the Bible, in the book of Genesis.
Exactly.
And I feel like it's easy to just breeze over this if you're just thinking about God, like just God the Father. Because when I think about creation as a child, I thought about God the Father. You feel me? I only thought God the Son come about when it was time to be born. You know, like
it's hard. It's so easy to miss that. And here's the next thing too. Like it's like one thing even made me think about this even more. Because think about it. We know we have like there's the 4 Gospels. The first 3 are synoptic. They essentially have the same stories in all 3, but the one that isn't like the other 3 is the last one, John. And how does John start? In the beginning. Almost just like Genesis, but it has a twist on it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and He was the Word of God. He was with God in the beginning, and through Him all things were made.
So let's think about this. He said He was with God
in the beginning.
So it's like if
keep on going. Let you finish your thought.
So like if you was a little confused about if this was referring to Jesus, we know it's not referring to God
the Father.
God the Father, because someone I'm trying to think of the word they use in English. There's a party. There's another party involved, right?
There's another party.
That is with God. You feel me? And so, like, you could definitely understand that. And this is the gospel of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, that's I feel like that's a very fitting way to start that, just so you could understand this Jesus who you see, who we used to see roaming, preaching, teaching, healing. This guy was here from the beginning. You understand? Some people might think he's a Johnny come lately when it comes to this, but no, from the beginning, Jesus was run. You understand?
Jesus was here. And John literally goes on to say, through him all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. And like, it even goes in, like, even like reading that now and even understanding that when God said, let us make man in our own image, it even gives more weight and shows why God chose to speak everything into existence. Because without the word, nothing was.
Oh, you preaching now, bro. No, you preaching now. I ain't even gonna lie, bro.
Without the word, nothing was. And the word was Jesus. And God said, because think about it, this is God. God could have done anything, and anything he wanted would have happened. But what did God choose to do? God chose to speak everything in existence. He chose to use the word. He chose to use his son to create everything that we have on earth. And in his son is life. And this is literally, I mean, and we know we're talking about Genesis, but Genesis is the beginning. And it is the beginning of a story of hope. A story of what was. Like, we see how Genesis took place in the Garden of Eden. How it starts off. And this is the beginning of the story of mankind's history. And it's also simultaneously a story of redemption. I could get off my...
Yeah, no, that was bad just now, bro. Because it's like, and we might have to edit this out, but I just want to beat this dead horse a little bit. Like, I feel like I just really like when things complement each other. And I find that in the Bible, stuff like this happens a lot, and it kind of blows my mind when I think about stuff like this, bro. In the beginning was the word, right? What you just do, you speak words, right? And they say, ain't nothing. Like, the beginning was the word was God, etc. But ain't nothing was created without him, who is the word, right? Everything was created by using words. Like, God could have pulled a lever, we get day and night. You see they saying God could have pointed a finger, ping, this, you see they saying? But God chose to speak. And I just feel like we have a God who is very consistent. Like, I talk about from the beginning, my guy is consistent. We do day 1, they do day 3. All right, time to flip it again. Same thing that happened on day 4. We could complement day 1, complement day 2, complement day 3, stuff like that. Like, we serve a God of consistency and order. You feel me? Exactly. Like, in all things, and that's something that shouldn't be forgotten. One other thing I'll say to the point of Jesus. Also, when I was a kid, and even up until adulthood, honest to God, even up until like 2 years ago, when I thought about the Old Testament, I thought it was very God the Father heavy.
Exactly.
You feel me? Like, when I know that there are prophecies about the coming of the Messiah and stuff like that. But I felt like every time they say God, they mean God the Father. You feel me? But it just go to show, like, how sometimes, like, literally it could be Jesus that happening. Because Jesus was up there from the beginning. You feel me? And it's just a matter of you doing your research.
And then I also think a lot of that too is the portrayal that we have as kids from Sabbath school, Sunday school. You go to Sunday school. And then also, like, just the different stuff, like the different Bible cartoons we watch on TV. Like, all of that has programmed our minds to believe a certain way. And it's like how you're saying, until you start analyzing the Bible for yourself, start reading the Bible for yourself, and you start letting God reveal things to you in his word, that's when you start having your eyes open and start understanding and seeing what really was. And there's even one more example from the Bible I'm even going to bring to talk about how Jesus was there at the beginning. This one's coming from Hebrews now. So Hebrews, I'm going to just read from Hebrews 1. It's going to be like 3 verses. In the past, God spoke to our forefathers through the prophets at many times and in various ways. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, ruler of all things. And through him, he made the universe. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being, sustaining all things by his powerful word. Like, that's two different examples, like trying to show that Jesus was there at the beginning. And so, I mean, I know we were talking about this for a little while, but it's just really important to understand that one, Jesus was there at the beginning of creation, and through the word, everything was made. And when God said, let us make man in our own image, he is still simultaneously talking to one God, but he's referring to the other attributes of himself, the word and the spirit. All are still God. So now, this part of the story is going to branch Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2. But so God did something different when he created man. God spoke, and the beast appeared from the earth, from the dust of the earth, from the land. But when God said, let us make man in our own image, what did God do?
Switch it up a little bit.
God literally took the dust of the earth, the dirt on the ground, and he handcrafted his image. And the reason why I said his image and not mine, I want to sink in.
That's my image right there.
God handcrafted his image in the earth. And he literally breathed his life into this dust. He breathed his own life into this image that he created that was a representation of himself to have dominion over the earth. That is powerful.
Yeah, bro. So like even thinking about that, I was just imagining it. I was just imagining it in my head, right? And we have a God who just say night and day, light, birds, whatever. And it came to pass, right? Like he literally say that. And this Nakhaz is mine right now. You understand? Like that. I ain't saying I pulling this from the Bible or anything like that. But why you think God had so much attention to detail when creating us, bro? Because I thinking, bro, this signifies, bro, the connection that God was trying to have with us, bro, as human beings, each and every one of us, bro. I personally handcraft y'all. In terms of Adam, I personally lay out the design. I'm sure God still personally handcrafts us, but I still personally put my breath into your lungs, bro. This personal right now, bro. You understand?
Exactly.
Like, this the real connection, and it go into the text where it says, before you were conceived, I knew you already. You understand, bro? So it's like God basically trying to tell you, bro, like I have a connection with you, bro. Like I have a serious connection with you.
It's like how it's literally like a mother, the connection a mother has to her baby before it's even born. Because like how the mother has to carry the baby for 9 months in its stomach, feel all the kicks, feel all the tossing and turning, just feeling like you're giving life to something. God literally got down. I just imagine, because he's forming this image of himself. I can imagine God kneeling down on the earth. He just spoke into existence through the word. Kneeling down on this freshly new earth. 6 days old. Well, at this point, 5.5 days old.
Yeah, we in the 6th day now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And saying, okay, I'm going to take the time that was also newly created and form my likeness. Well, I mean, because think about it. So now, after that, God said, okay, God called the man Adam, which literally means man. So God, God called Adam and said, okay, hey, look at this. Look at this world I just created. You can name all the birds of the air.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can name all the beasts of the field. You can name all the fish of the sea.
And not just showing you how beastly Adam was, though.
Yes, sir.
That show you the type of mind, and the capacity of a human being, brand new, off the lot. You see what I'm saying? Like what you could do. You know what I mean? And like if we think about ourselves right now, I remember having this discussion with somebody, not even discussion, I mentioned this to somebody in high school, and I was like, bro, like literally Adam, sit down and name all the animals and stuff like that.
And remembered them.
Bro, people laugh at me, bro. They laugh me out the room for that, bro.
Every tree too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, and they laugh, like my boys in high school laughed me out the room for that, bro.
Wow.
Because like they couldn't, they couldn't picture a human mind doing that. You feel me? Bro, like they was trying to tell me that the Bible was being hyperbolic and that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, prove it though. You understand? Like, prove it though. Because like we have written that, we have documented evidence that was Adam's task. And someone had to do it. Show me who do it. Show me who name it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, so in comparison to like what people can do right now, bro, like that task to be done, what I'm assuming in a day, like on the 6th day, bro, that is wild. You name all of these people and you name all of these animals, all of these trees, maybe all of these organisms and stuff, and you remember all of that. Straight up. And you freestyle, bro, you know what it is. You know what it is?
Elephant.
Exactly.
Apple.
Let me tell you something, bro.
Orange.
When I was learning,
Kumquat.
he was getting lazy on that one. He wasn't as creative on that one, dog. Some stuff I'm looking at out of it, and like, come on, hold on now. I remember as a kid, right? I used to think about how God named the days, the first day, the second day, third day through 7. And then man turned around and gave it Monday, Tuesday. And they have different meanings within itself. And I was always thinking, bro, if I had to make a new day, what would I name that day?
Exactly. It's so interesting, right?
Bro, and I seriously couldn't really like close on a day, bro. You see what I say? Like I couldn't really think about a day. Like, what would I name this day?
And like it's so interesting too, like even going to the next tangent. How many people really create new names nowadays?
Exactly.
And you can say, oh, I'm going to take 2 names and squish it together. But guess what you just did? You took 2 pre-existing names and squished them together.
Yep.
Imagine, we only know what a grape is because Adam named it a grape.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what a grape was. Like, you imagine, just look at this. That looks like a grape to me.
Hippopotamus is a weird name, bro. But my dog had to freestyle that off the top of the dome, so I can give him a pass on that one.
Giraffe.
Bro, you see what I'm saying, bro? Like, and then you ain't running out of, bro. You're not running out of these things, bro.
Zebra.
A ficus tree, bro. You understand? Ponciana. You know what I mean, bro? Like my dog was giving it up, bro. Like,
exactly.
He get a little lazy with yellow, though. I mean, with orange. Because that's a fruit. You say out of color. You know what I mean? Like, he get a little lazy.
Can't win them all.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just joking. You feel me? I'm just kidding, for sure.
But I mean, it's just interesting. So now Adam goes through all of this. Adam names everything. What does God say? It is not good
for man to be alone.
And so now we have evidence of, this is Earl talking now. We have evidence of the first surgery ever happening in mankind. This was before anesthesia. This is before all that. God puts Adam in a deep sleep. What does that sound like to me? A surgery. God cuts open his side. What does that sound like to me? A surgery. Take out his man's rib. Can't get more surgical than that.
Surgical with it.
Sews them back up together. And then from this man's rib, God created him the perfect helper. God formed woman from the same dust out of the earth, but now he had a different ingredient, the rib of a man. From the side of a man was a female or a woman formed.
Where you say she was? Where she's formed from?
The side of a man.
You think any symbolism behind that?
Man, I'm gonna let you touch on that one. I'm gonna let you. That's all you.
All right, so let's just think about the location of the rib. Like, as we mentioned earlier, it is from the side. It is from the side of the body. You understand? I could even go into like a fake deep rant about how like the rib is to protect your lungs. You feel me? The place where you get your breath. You feel me? And God breathed breath into man to give him life and stuff like that. You feel me? And it's just like just how your helpmeet, bro, could be your protector of your peace, the protector of your breath. You feel me? I could get into that round, but I ain't really think too deeply on it yet. You understand? But let's just talk about the symbology behind a rib. So if we really think about like the location of the rib, right? It is in your side, as we mentioned earlier. And that's because the person that is meant for you, the person that you are to spend your life with, the person that is to be your companion, your helpmeet, should not be above you, should not be beneath you, but they should be on an equal playing field as you. This is the person that completes you in the same way that you complete them. God, the God who does not make mistakes, could have used the clavicle bone.
Exactly.
Something more up in the upper region. You feel me? He could have used one of the cranial bones, right? He could have used a bone out of your feet, out of your legs, or something like that. He could have used the backbone. If he wanted his companion to be his backbone, he could have do that. But no, he said, I taken something from your rib. I taken one of your rib bones because this person is to be by your side. And we could put a pin in that. Remember that. This person is to be by your side. And this is going to be important in our next discussion.
Exactly.
You understand? But like at the end of the day, the rib bone symbolizes that your wife is to be on an equal playing field as you. Someone that is by your side, not somebody that you rule over, not somebody that rules over you. It should be about equality, and that's how everybody should look at it. You feel me? And we can kind of see how that had to take a turn in a few episodes to come.
So now we have Adam and his wife, who we all know is Eve. And so now what did God do? This is still on day 6. Still all on this. God planted a garden in Eden. We call it the Garden of Eden, but the garden was in Eden in the east. And God placed this first couple in that garden as their home. In the garden, in the center of the garden, was the tree of life. Literally, this tree does exactly what it says. This tree literally perpetuated the life that came from God. As long as you eat of this tree, life literally be perpetuated forever. We're going to put a pin in that and get back to that in our next discussion too. But very near the tree of life was another tree. The tree of knowledge and good and evil. So God placed this new couple in the Garden of Eden. And you know what God did that's also important to note that a lot of people like skip over? Is God gave Adam and Eve a job.
Facts. God
literally put them to work. And this work wasn't meant to be a burden on them at this point. It's really meant to just take care of the garden.
And I want to go on a little tangent about that, bro.
Go for it.
So I feel like definitely for people's mental health, and I don't really like to use that buzzword because like a lot of people speak about that a lot, but I feel like just for your sanity, you have to do something in life. You feel me? I personally feel like, there are people who win the lottery. It's so many, it's an aside. There's so many cases of people who win the lottery and end up going into a Great Depression, end up killing themselves, end up ruining their lives and their happiness. And I feel like that's because they have no need to work anymore. Everything that they wanted to look forward to is not a goal to them anymore. You feel me? So like you become very unmotivated and you end up just becoming sad and depressed, and that leads you to do those type of things. I feel like that's definitely a part of why people who win the lottery end up in those situations because they don't have something to do, you know? And like even in the story of creation, we could see where God made these people like literally, it's like when you in college, right? And you on spring break you just want to, not even spring break, like Thanksgiving break or summer break, you just want to chill and do nothing. Like sometimes you, like even when you working like in the like in the real world, when you just working and stuff like that, you can't wait for a time when you could just sit around and do nothing. You feel me? Like when you could just relax, and you have a brand new couple, brand new human beings on the world, and it ain't the stuff that we have to do today. They should have been able to just sit around and do nothing. You feel me? But at the same time, God knows how constructive it is for you to actually find something to occupy your time. You know, so God gave them a job.
Yeah. And just one thing I want to piggyback of what you say right now with like God giving them a job, right? Now, like what we're trying to say too is that, well, I shouldn't say we're trying to say, how I internalize that too, because I'm a proponent for financial freedom, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like not really working for somebody else. But at the same time, it's like even if you're free from your job, you can still do things in your own interest. You still have dreams and ambitions that you want to fulfill. Like Adam and Eve were fully fulfilled in learning more about this new world that was just created. They were fully fulfilled in taking care of the garden. They were fully fulfilled in learning, interacting with the animals, learning about these new trees, learning about these new wildlife. They were fully fulfilled doing that. And yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say on that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of the point that I was trying to make too, though. Like, not specifically like a 9 to 5. Or,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You understand? Like, I just talking about something to occupy your time, like something constructive. You feel me?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what's up.
So God just put them in the Garden of Eden. God gave them work, and they were to look over the Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden was their home. Like God created man. God created the beasts of the field. God formed man in his own image. And God created a woman. God gave them dominion over the earth. And God said, what did God say on this day?
It was good.
It was
Very good. Very good. All right, so earlier, I was trying to make a point. Like, I was just talking about the importance, like, to me, like, this ain't really no theological discussion about the importance of God saying it was good, because, like, as a creator, you make things, right? And, of course, like, that sounded like, anyway. And you might make a song, and in the moment, you love this song. You love this song to death, and you chilling, and you listen to the song. You listen to the song a lot of times, and then afterwards, self-doubt kick in. You feel me? You might talk yourself out of something that could be a masterpiece, and every creative goes through this. And at the end of the day, you might end up just second guessing it. Like, man, I ain't really feeling this, and you never actually put it out. You feel me? But God, the great creator, did not have any self-doubt in his makings. And as someone with his capacity and like just his knowledge, like, and just his intuity, he can see when something is off or not. And that just go to show that the things that he was making at this time was perfect. You feel me? Perfect. God look at this and he was like, yeah, that's good. It's like when you make a song and you know it's a hit, you look at it, that's a hit. You feel me? Like sometimes you could feel in your bones like, this a hit. You understand? And I feel like at the end of every day, God was like, this a hit, this a hit, this a hit. Till day 6, this is a smash it. You see
exactly.
This is a smash it, though.
And think about it too. Like think about even why God was so pleased with his work on day 6. He literally created a representation of himself to rule over the earth that he just created. And so just imagine how pleased he was with that. Like, yeah, that's
me.
Very pleased.
Yeah.
Like literally the handicraft of his work. Like literally, because he literally had to form man in his image. Sorry for driving home that point, but like that's just really like he literally had to form man in his image, and he was very, very, very pleased. I know the Bible only says one very, so don't chew me out. But he was very pleased with his work. And now it comes to the 7th day.
Important.
So now on this day, you're really thinking like, what is there left for God to create? And God said, day 7, evening came and it was day. He's like, everything is good. He looked at what all he has made. The heaven and the earth were now completed. And you know what God did?
What did he do?
He rested on that day. And now this is where it gets kind of like, oh, God rested? God was tired?
Yeah,
no.
It's a hot topic, Rachel.
It's a hard topic. God rested on the day. He sanctified it because God can't get tired, but God really rested. And God rested as a symbolism. He literally created a day because he knew man would work so hard and so effortlessly in the first 6 days that they needed time just to relax, forget all about the cares of the world to a certain extent, and say, okay, today we're going to sit back and admire the work of our Creator God. Sit back and admire creation. Sit back and reflect on the goodness of God. Sit back and think about all the good things God has done.
So, and if you look in, if you read the actual text, Genesis 2, verse 2, and on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And nowhere in that text does it imply that God was tired. So it's like when you play, it's like even when you're watching sports, bro. Tim Duncan might not play back-to-back games in his final season. You feel me? He wake up this morning and he did not exert any of his energy. The man is not tired, but no, he resting from, like he's refraining from playing. You feel me? And it's like, because it's important to rest at the end of the day. And like, let's go back to me talking about being a creator. Sometimes you can't overdo it. You already make 6 days worth of gold. What you could do on the 7th day? Like seriously, like God in his wisdom, he's saying, bro, I ain't gonna overdo this, bro. I could take a break. And I see using this as an example for all mankind, for the rest of human existence. Don't overdo it. You work for 6 days, and on that 7th day, just take a break. Because God, he already found out, he already showed us that it was important for us to find something to do, right? But at the same time, I feel like God is like dope because like trying to speak it for universal terms. I feel like God is dope because God understands at the same time, sometimes you can really get consumed with what you find to do. So like even if you're in ministry, those 6 days, you could be going hard. And on that 7th day, you need to relax. You understand? You need to rest. You need to take some time to get your mind back centered. You need to take some time to reflect on God. And at the same time, God giving us a little cushion to make sure we don't forget about him at the same time.
Exactly.
You can't tell me you was busy Sunday through Friday, and then on Saturday you was busy too. No, it don't work like that. I give you Sunday through Friday. Do all your work. But on Saturday, it ain't no excuse for being busy on that day. Because I give you the blueprint. And it's a foolproof blueprint because God don't make mistakes. And I also think it's also like, because Earl and I grew up 7-day Adventists, right? But we are aware that the world we inhabit is far from being Adventist. It's far from being Sabbath observers. You understand? Even some of our peers don't even really like follow some of the I don't want to say tradition because it ain't really a tradition, but don't really follow the blueprint in this type of fashion. You understand? So it's like sometimes when you want to play sports or you want to watch sports, you can't do that because it's not really keeping the Sabbath holy. And I know this is a topic really when we get on the 10 Commandments also, right? But at the end of the day, when you actually start to work and you understand that it's against my religion to overwork myself, you find peace and solitude in God giving you this freedom. Like this ain't like as a kid, I used to think it was some type of bondage or some type of restriction. But now it feel like freedom to me.
Exactly, man. I never really started to appreciate the Sabbath until I hit college.
Until you work yourself dead hard because you know how important getting your education and achieving your goals are. And to the point where you're willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means working yourself to death.
Staying up all those all-nighters and stuff.
But you know what I ain't doing on Friday night?
No studying, no homework. It's like bring you joy. A sense of pride for me.
I trying to tell you it's against my religion to do this, bro. Come from around me with this. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, you want to study when? It's not happening.
No, sir. It ain't happening. For real.
Happening.
You know, it's a little tangent, but at the end of the day, I just see that as a blessing. You know,
He blessed and sanctified the seventh day, and he also made it holy.
and I don't know. It's like I feel like this was a roundabout way to talk about the first week that ever happened in the history of the earth. You feel me?
It's a roundabout way, but it's so important because how can you understand anything else if you don't understand how it began? It's literally like walking into a movie 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And so now you can see how the rest of the movie plays out, but at the same time, you missed key and crucial information in that first 20 minutes that would make the ending so much better.
Exactly. And it would tie everything together for you.
Tie everything together.
You could have a more meaningful experience in the movie. You know what I'm saying? If you get it from start to finish. And I like that you say that. And at the same time, the Bible is like a compilation of books, but it's still one big book, right? And it's talking about, the way I look at the Bible, bro, honestly, I just look at it as the setup and the execution of Jesus dying for our sins. You feel me? So the Old Testament is the setup. But the beautiful thing about it is none of this is fiction. Like all of this is literally history. You feel me? All of these, it's just accounts. It's just accounts of what happened and God's involvement and God's grace and mercy, etc. And then Jesus come and die for our sins. And then he will return. You feel me? And we haven't even lived our part out yet. So we actually living like during the like times of prophecy, etc. But at the same time, like if we look at it as like just one big book, you gotta understand how it start. You feel me? Like a lot of people know about Jesus, but just being real, a lot of people don't know the background. But a lot of people don't really. I personally feel like a lot of Christians know about Christ, know about the stuff Christ did, but when it comes to the Old Testament, not so much.
Exactly.
You feel me? And the book of Genesis alone just have so much gems. It's important that you set that book up right. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like Genesis is a book that really unpacks the trajectory of the world.
As a fact, bro. So yeah, bro. So I feel like we should just, how about this? Let's go through the 6 days, and then you say your favorite day. I say my favorite day.
Ooh, it's a cop out. All right. So we know day one. Day one is where it all began. In the beginning, God was hovering over the waters. He created light. Let there be. He spoke and it came into existence. And simultaneously, he created time and order. Day two, created the sky and the waters. Day three, he created dry ground and trees. Day four, he created the sun, moon, and stars and gave them dominion over the night and day. Day five, he created he created the birds and the fish. Day six, he created the wild beasts of the field, and he created mankind.
Yeah, bro, and you just freestyle all that, bro. I just looking at the illustration. My boy is spot on with all of these.
Well, it just like the reason why it's so easy for me now is just because I have the dualism between the parallel between the first three and the second three, and then the rest, and you all tie it together with the rest.
So all you got to do is remember the first three.
All you got to do is remember the first three, honestly. Yeah. But instead of taking a cop out and saying the sixth day for my very selfish reasons, I'm gonna say day one.
Oh, you get me.
Day one, and here's why I like day one. Because not only was it the Genesis, not only was it the beginning, we see Father, Son, and Holy Spirit all in one, coming together in a perfect trinity, a perfect unity, and saying, let us create something that isn't. Let us create a world. Granted, we don't need to, because we already are, we already was, and we already will be. But let us do something that isn't. Let us set on this journey to create the universe, to create the world, to invite other beings in our image into our community in our likeness to be a part of us. And simultaneously knowing in his great wisdom, the first thing that needs to be set into existence is light, time, and order. But light. That's just in itself right there, that's just powerful. Knowing that the first thing that was needed was light.
Yeah, but that was deep, dog. I don't even know if I will follow up. But honestly, like if I had to choose the day, I like you, I would have chose the first day. But at the same time, like in the sake of light, like I just want to shed light on the honorable mention day. You feel me? Which is the 7th day. You feel me? That's the day when God put a close to all of the hard work and the hard labor and all of the floor planning that he put into creating and just making sure that the world is what it is. You understand? It is a day when he decided that I want you to have no other job but to take care of you. You feel me? The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. You feel me? This is your self-care day. And what better self-care than to actually connect to the power source? On this episode, we spoke about where it all began. Creation. Here we see God at work. We see how he merely spoke, and it was. Time, light, seasons, animals, humanity, the list goes on, was all created by God in 6 days. And on the 7th day, God rested as an example for us to follow. Our first parents had the luxury of enjoying a perfect world the way that God intended. And let's just say they ate themselves out of house and home. But we'll talk more about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air.